Yo, thank you and welcome for coming back to my podcast, Unwritten. In this episode, we have Pramoda, an ex Meta and Oracle employee, Indian born software engineer who's made a significant career change from leaving these big tech companies after nearly 2 decades in tech. He embraced leadership and coaching and finally reached his goal of writing a book called Go Beyond Your Limits. In this episode, he shares his journey of personal transformation from overcoming public speaking, finding purpose through consistent monthly and yearly goals, and daily habits. Join us as we dive into insights of growth, happiness, purpose, and the balance of a demanding career with personal development. And before we dive in, though, make sure you subscribe. It supports the show and it gets my podcast out there. So maybe one day I could have bigger guests, celebrities, scientists, those in the media. I'd love to interview them. So support the show and subscribe. Thank you. Welcome to the Unwritten Podcast with your host, Thomas Malpass, where we are on a mission to help the world find more purpose, passion, and peace in their everyday lives. Through deep conversations and connection, tune in because we are all on this journey of life together. Are you initially from India or where are you from?
Yeah, I'm from India. I lived there until 2015. Only in the last 9 years, I've been living in California.
Why California?
I was working at Oracle India. It's a software company.
Yeah.
I finished my post-graduation back in 2002. Right after my graduation, I joined this company as a software engineer. For about 13 years, I worked in India, in the city Bengaluru, which is in the southern part of India. Then I had the opportunity to transfer internationally and come to the US. I took a role in the United States in 2015. That's how I moved the country and I came here with my family about 9 years ago.
That must have been a big opportunity, huh?
It is. I was visiting as an employee ever since I joined in 2002. I was always visiting the Bay Area, close to San Francisco. I've been coming here as a visitor, but moving to a different country is a new experience, especially for my son who was 4 at the time, my wife
Yeah,
who had not visited the US. So
it's a
it's all
culture.
exciting for the family. Yes.
Yeah, it's like it could be a culture shock, to be honest. How was that? Like when you finally like do you like California? Do you like living in California?
I love the weather. I love the weather. A lot of
Yeah.
technology companies, so many opportunities to move around. If you don't like one company, you can join something else. I like the opportunity.
Uh
Yeah.
if you have the qualifications, yeah, you can.
Yes. Yes. If you have the qualifications, I like the description there. The biggest change was family. I have two siblings in India in the same city where I lived. My wife has four siblings. She is the youngest. I am the youngest as well. So the entire
I'm the
family,
youngest.
okay. So my family and her family, everybody is in the same city, Bengaluru. So now we don't have them anymore. Every weekend we used to meet them. That's the big change. Big family versus a nuclear family here, finding your own friends and community. That was a big change.
Yeah, I can only imagine because you must have been so close with them too. You visit them every like weekend or something, like
That's
once a
right.
week.
Yeah. Sometimes twice a week. Maybe Wednesday, Friday. Imagine. So my wife had four siblings, and I have two, and my parents and her parents. So you can go
Yeah.
anywhere you want.
And now it's just you guys.
That's right. Yeah.
Well, I want to talk about your journey and why you're even here right now speaking to me. uh, so my first question is, can you tell me about what it was like growing up and what the path looked like that has led you to where you are now and what you do today.
Yeah, I can start from my childhood. So, middle class Indian family. My mom was a banker. She was a bank employee, and my father was a high school teacher. And for most Indians, the goal is, you study well, you get a job, either become an engineer or a doctor. That was the case back then. I'm talking about 1980s and 90s. So I did everything I could to ensure I got a bachelor's degree in computer science and then master's degree. So all my focus was academics, do really well in academics, become a computer geek, and get a job, get a high paying job. That's the qualification. Now, what happened was I had already got a job through a campus interview. So I had one more year to go in my post graduation. Oracle came to our campus and did the recruitment. So I had a job a year before I used to graduate. After about 4 or 5 months, my father passed away. I was about 22. I had a job. I was about to join 6 months later, and he was excited about my job. In fact, my first salary was twice his current salary that he got after 33 years of working. So he was excited about my job and my software engineering job, and he passed away. A year later, I joined the organization, I started working. I found that life had no meaning because I had two deaths in the family, first my father and then my grandfather, 2 years later. All these existential questions were haunting me, like what's the meaning to life? Why do we live? What do we achieve in life? Is it all, I mean, my job is to get a good grade, get a job, and work for the next 40 years. Is that my life? That question came to my mind. I was heavily overweight. I was about 90 kilos back then, probably 190 pounds. I was not in a good physical shape, not in a mental shape. I was all alone in my cocoon. I was reading books, by the way. I was reading self help books in 2003 and 4. I was gathering all the knowledge, but I wasn't changing anything in my choices. In 2003, I happened to attend a training. Oracle offered a training on time management. I thought the missing link to my life was time management. If I can learn how to manage my time, I can be successful and happy and have some meaning in my life. So I went to the training. In the training program, I was introduced to a person named John Goddard. Now, John Goddard is an American. He's called the world's greatest adventurer. He wrote a book called The Last Survivor. He wrote a book. At age 14, he wrote about 127 goals, like climbing the Mount Everest, Mount Kilimanjaro, visiting so many countries around the world, learning 4 or 5 international languages. He had all these crazy adventurous goals, and he achieved most of them by the age 85. I was in this training. I was extremely impressed by what he did. I thought, okay, maybe I can create some meaning in my life through my goals. And I did not have all these lofty goals, such as, my climbing the Mount Everest and other things. So I said, okay, what could be meaningful to me? Well, some goals immediately popped up. One is lose weight, become fit. I was obese. I was like a bean bag. I said, now why don't I become fit and improve myself? Okay, that's number one goal. I was terrified of public speaking. My job required it. I used to talk to all other people around different organizations. I was scared of speaking in public. I said, okay, what if I improve my public speaking skills? That became my goal number two. Then in my family, we had experiences where people went through surgery, we needed blood. It was difficult to find donors back then in the city. I said, okay, I will donate blood. I will donate 50 times before I turn 50. I just put that number. Then I was scared of water. I said, okay, I'm going to learn how to swim. My childhood dream was to learn martial arts. It never happened. I had regrets about not learning any martial art. I just was fascinated with Jackie Chan and Bruce Lee. It just never happened. I said, okay, this is my second chance as an adult at 22. I want to learn martial arts. So I wrote those 5 goals right after the training. I went home and I wrote those 5 goals. In the next 3 years, from 2003 to 2006, I made significant progress on all these 5 goals, which is losing weight, becoming a confident speaker, donating blood, learning how to swim, and learning a martial art. I learned Krav Maga, which is an Israeli martial art, for about 3 years. About I think 4 belts I cleared back then. So once I made progress, I'll remind you again, I am not saying achieved fully. I made progress. I made significant progress on these goals. My life suddenly became meaningful. All of a sudden, I had something to look forward to, something to do every morning when I get up. I realized I can create meaning in my own life. I don't have to find meaning outside. I can find meaning in what I do every day. That perspective completely changed my life.
Damn. Wait, can you say that again? you you said you create meaning. You don't find meaning.
And you don't find meaning, you create meaning. You create meaning through your activities, you create meaning through meaningful goals. Any goal that seems
Hmm.
meaningful to you,
To you.
like you and I
Yeah.
are different, like our fingerprints. You
Yeah.
might get meaning from different goals, maybe working out, running a full marathon, running a half marathon, writing a book, writing a blog. You find meaning, okay, this is meaningful to me,
Yeah.
and you create that meaning through activities in your life.
Hmm. I like that. So I did want to ask you though, like, do goals? Because I know goals help people a lot, and they do help us create meaning and ultimately live a more fulfilling life. But do they have a means to an end?
Say that again, I didn't catch the question fully.
Do goals have a means to an end? Like, are you just gonna keep like chasing goals for your entire life, or is there ever a moment where it's just like I'm okay, I'm like I don't have to keep chasing goals anymore?
Yeah, I like the question. So goals are sort of a direction, like your north star. It
Mm.
doesn't have to be a specific goal. For
Mm.
example, I might have a goal to run a full marathon, and once I run that, I actually go through the process, become really fit. I enjoy my fitness. I like it.
Mm.
Now I don't have to run another full marathon to stay in shape. I can pick some other goal. So goals give you direction to do some activities together, and your goal can be happy and content. For example, every morning you get up, okay, today my goal is to be happy.
Yeah.
I will add value to people around me. I'll be kind to my son, my wife. I will listen more. Those can be goals as well. Goal gives you sort of a direction, a compass
Mm.
towards where you want to go. It doesn't have to be measurable, quantifiable all the time.
Mm.
Because if you start measuring everything, you are going to obsess yourself. That's my experience. You're going to
Yeah.
obsess yourself, you'll not enjoy the process.
Yeah. Yeah, for me at least, I get some sort of pressure. Like I feel some sort of pressure and stress. Like let's say you create a huge goal. Like for me, one of my goals, I literally just like broke it down yesterday. I was like, all right, I want to get 1 million subscribers on YouTube, and I want to achieve that within 5 years. So basically by 2030, I want to have 1 million subscribers on YouTube. And I was breaking it down. I would have to have 500 subscribers a day starting like today for every day. Either that or just get like what usually happens in YouTube world is somebody gets like a viral video
Mhm.
and they get like 500,000 subscribers in like a week. That's what usually happens, but I broke it down and it was like, okay, 500 subscribers every day for the next 5 years. And it's just like, like how do you like maintain your I guess resilience, your motivation when you're not meeting certain goals at certain deadlines?
Yeah. I think in your case, I know you're looking at a linear effect, which means you're counting 500 per day. But I
Yeah.
want you to also consider there could be a compound effect on your goals, especially in followers and internet. There is always this exponential growth. So,
Mm.
for example, this year you might get 10,000, next year you might get 500,000, because there is compound effect.
Mm.
I want you to consider this aspect that, one is linear effect, every day 500, and then you
Yeah.
approach. That's linear effect. But there is also
Okay.
non-linear effect, or exponential effect, or compound effect in growing your followers on social media. So consider that as you grow your following. Coming back to your question, which is motivation, I have realized, Thomas, that the joy is in doing things.
Mm.
So I don't know. You might have seen my profile. I wrote a book recently called Beyond Your Limits,
Yeah, I
and
see.
the book has three sections. And in section two, I talk about a seven-step goal achievement framework.
Mm.
And the seventh step in the process is enjoy the journey. If you don't enjoy the journey, something is wrong with the goal or the approach.
Mm.
That is what I have learned in my 22 years of goal achievement. If you're not enjoying the goal, either it's a wrong goal or my approach is wrong. I'm putting too much effort on results. I'm putting too much focus on the results, not the process and doing things.
That's a that's actually a big one because I was in the military, and while I was in the military, I was just trying to basically like chase money. Like, oh, like I still had a stable income with the military, but I was trying to basically get into business and investing, and I ended up spending like thousands of dollars on just like random courses that uh oh, if you finish this course and you just do it, you'll make $1 million in the next year. Some, like the guru courses. Um and I ended up getting into them and just not, like, I would do them for a couple months and just it was just not fulfilling at all. And it's like in those moments I realized, like, maybe it's not about like just trying to get money. Maybe it's about like actually feeling good about what you're doing while you're striving for something.
Absolutely. It's the journey which is even more important. What you become during the process is even more important. Even when you run a full marathon, when I finish the race, I cross the finish line, you feel like, is this all? Because crossing the finish line is not the goal. Showing up every day, toning the muscles, improving your cardiovascular functioning, your musculoskeletal structure, improving all that every day, that is more exciting. You are building something inside you.
Yeah.
And most likely, what happens is when you finish one marathon, the immediate thought after the race is, what's my next race? Because there is so much fun in preparing for the race and going through the process.
Yeah. It's like the money thing again. It's like so many people want, like, I'm sure everybody would agree. They would say, "Yeah, I would love to be rich and
Yeah,
wealthy." But then it's like, then you ask yourself, like, why? Why do I want that? Like, do I just want to show off? Does it mean more freedom? I could travel more. Um, and when I do achieve that, like, how would I feel and what would be next after that? Like, when you ask yourselves these questions, it's like, I don't know, that's what matters more, I think, to me. Like, you can have these goals, but they have to mean something to you.
that is correct.
Like, don't just copy and paste somebody else's goals and think that if you achieve that, that's you're gonna be fulfilled by their goal that you just copied and pasted.
Absolutely. Totally agreed.
So I want to talk about, I guess, your positions at Meta and Oracle. So you don't do that anymore, right?
I took a break in 2023, last year, February. So right now, I'm fully focused on my coaching business. I'm not employed
Mm-hmm.
at Meta. I'm not employed at Oracle. I'm actually on a 2-year career break to try something on my own.
A 2 year career.
Yeah. So you can say sabbatical, 2 year sabbatical from the technology industry.
So I want to know how it was like actually working there. To be honest, I just want to like, how was it? How was it like working at a big tech company, and why did you make the decision to um, take this sabbatical to just, I guess, invest more time into yourself?
Yeah. So I'll answer the first question. So I was at Oracle for close to 20 years, 13 years in India and then 7 years in the US. My goal was always to become a leadership coach and help
Mm.
other people. That was always my North Star by the age 50. Now, after 20 years at Oracle, I realized I need more challenges. And if I were to retire now, what would I tell my clients that, okay, I worked in one company for 20 years, I retired. I just didn't like the story. I wanted to have more experience from another angle. That's when I interviewed at so many places, including Meta and Google. I cleared the interviews at both companies, Google and Meta, but I chose Meta for a few reasons, including the role and the kind of work I did. That's the reason I moved from Oracle to Meta. At Meta, one thing I liked is the quality of people, extremely high quality people. If you bring 10 people in the room, they have something to bring to the table. Their
Mm.
background is amazing, really sharp people. They communicate well, they know their area really well. These are really some of the inspiring people I met. I also met some celebrity lawyers from various countries. They are so good in their area. They are here in the company to represent some things. I also met a few law enforcement officers from various countries, and they know so much about cyber crime. They're in the company to
Mm.
identify
Yeah,
how
that's
they can help.
huge.
So I also learned there is so much of publicity that the company gets because of more than a billion users of the product. And there are some things that are difficult, not easy to solve, like these privacy challenges.
Yeah.
Even though the company is doing great and trying to help what they can, but it is really something that nobody has solved yet. These challenges that Meta has. So
Yeah.
as a
I
user,
feel like somebody could just, like, for that, I feel like you have hackers, right?
yeah,
It's like, okay, you work on cybersecurity, but then I feel like there's always somebody, because what it, to me, cybersecurity is just like, okay, you have hackers and then you have cybersecurity. It's just like, okay, who can outsmart each other? It's like, oh, let me create this algorithm so that it's like a puzzle, and that the hackers, uh they would have to solve to crack it, and then like it's just like to me, cybersecurity is just like a back and forth like puzzle game between hackers.
yeah. I knew the challenges as a user, like I used Facebook and WhatsApp. But now, when I joined as an employee, I realized the other side of the coin, which is how much
Mm,
struggle is for the company and organization, different teams, to look at these challenges. Nobody can think of these challenges. There are so many ways to hurt people and harm people around the
yeah,
product. Like, you are spamming, scamming in the various products and social media.
blackmail.
Yeah, there's so much. It's like a tool, like a knife. You can cut an apple
Oh
or
yeah.
cut someone else. So social media
Yeah.
is a tool. So I realized on the other side, there is so much difficulty for the company to solve these challenges because they are helpful to people who are using the right way, but you can also use the
Mm,
wrong way.
yeah.
And where do you draw the line? I mean, how many rules can you put in the product?
Yeah, that's true. So you decided to take a break from all that.
Okay, so I'll come to that. So what happened is after about 14 months at Meta, there was a massive layoff in the company. As part of that layoff,
Mm.
even my role was eliminated
Oh really?
after 14 months. So I thought, okay, I have two choices right now. I could go back and do more interviews at these big tech companies like Google, Amazon, maybe others, or go back to Oracle or some other company in the area. That's the benefit of staying in this area. There's so many companies, so many options
Big tech.
to, yeah, big tech. The other option I thought is I always had this interest to become a coach and author, create my own courses. I knew I would definitely do it after age 50. But I thought, what if I try it now? I take a 2 year break
How old are you
and
now?
I'm running 45 this year. So when I took the break, I was 43. Now I'm turning 45 this year.
Okay.
And my thought was, if I take 2 year break and attempt this, do everything, give myself fully to writing a book, creating courses, coaching people, as if I am a full time business owner.
Mm-hmm.
And that is why I had a few recruiters who were in touch with me. I told them, look, I am not really interviewing right now. I would love to be in touch, but right now I'm taking a 2 year break. I told them I made the big decision, and I started a
That's a
business in
long time.
California. Yeah. So I registered a business in California. It's in training and coaching, online training and coaching, in February 2023 last year. So roughly about 15 or 16 months in the business now. I have
Mm.
got a few courses online, digital courses. I've got live courses I conduct every 3 months. I've got one-to-one coaching clients in the tech industry, and I published a book. And right now I'm focused on, one is marketing and publicizing my book around the world, like coming to your podcast and see how I can add value. Also, I have a new course coming based on my book, which is a 7 step framework, is becoming a 7 week online course, a live course where people come together as a community and see how they can apply this goal setting to their personal life and career.
That's amazing, man. I love what you're doing.
Thank you.
How did you? Because that's scary, right? You gotta have like some savings or something to keep you, or investments coming in. Um, how did you even like decide that, or how to like? What was the first things you were doing, like once you got laid off, and recruiters were still contacting you, and you really made up your mind to like be committed to this business project? Um, like tell me about that time, like in the beginnings of your business, of starting this business, and from its inception to its the growth that it's had over the last 2 years.
Yeah, I will definitely. What happened is, so when I was laid off, as part of that, we get a severance package. Usually it's about 2 or 3 months. And in that time, I did a lot of thinking. So that was the time I did not interview. I said, this is my time. I sat back and realized, okay, how much savings I have, how many months or years I can manage without going back, and also not burning my savings, of course. How quickly can I generate cash flow? My thought was, okay,
Mm-hmm.
how quickly can I generate cash flow and what I need to do? So, in about 60 days, I did a lot of thinking. I spoke to people in the coaching world, and I realized that different people had different answers. So there is no
Mm-hmm.
template for you. What I did was, I said, okay, I'm going to do one-to-one coaching because I already had the credentials experience in one-to-one coaching.
Mm-hmm.
I said, usually one-to-one coaching is high ticket, meaning you go for either 3 months or 6 months, and it's slightly higher on the money side.
Mm-hmm.
And I had the credibility. If you really say, I've got masters in computer science, 21 years in the industry, I was a director of an organization, and I was head of data engineering in Meta. So I have the credibility. I can go for high ticket coaching.
Like you didn't start from like ground zero. You
Right.
had some background. Yeah.
Yeah. So I had the background. So essentially, when I say I will coach somebody for job interviews or becoming a manager or becoming a leader, I have the clout because I've done this before.
Mm-hmm.
Getting clients is a different story, but I have the credibility saying, okay, this is where I can help people.
Mm-hmm.
What I did was, I said, here is what I will attempt to earn in the next 3 months. So for the first 3 months goal was, I'm going to get about 4 or 5 clients, and this is the income I want to make. And if I can make this income, which means I get some positive signals that I'm in the right direction, I can continue doing this.
Mm-hmm. So you tested it. Like,
Absolutely.
yeah.
And in fact, within about 90 days, I got the number of clients I wanted to see some money flowing. So all my business expense, like
Mm.
website, my Zoom calls, anything on the
Yeah.
software side, it was already covered. I wasn't spending anything on the business. It was coming through
Oh
my
wow.
clients.
Yeah.
So that was my first step where, there is no business without cash flow, as you
Yeah.
know, right? So the moment I saw cash flow, I realized, oh my, Two things. One is I am valuable, because being an employee is different, right? So you are there, you have
Yeah.
a title, and they pay you salary. But this is
Yeah.
different. This is people paying me for my coaching services.
Mm.
Their employer is not paying, the employee is paying. So this was a good proof that people value my experience and what I bring to the table. Now that belief is important. Otherwise,
Yeah.
all of us feel like imposters. I don't have anything to add value to the community or my clients. So that was a
Yeah.
huge belief booster for me. People paying me upfront for 6 months coaching or 3 months coaching.
What would you tell somebody who is trying to find the value within themselves?
As a coach or as an individual?
Both.
So let me tell you, as a coach, because this is a conversation
Yeah.
that people might be hearing as coaches.
Yeah.
I will tell you, before I got paying clients, I spoke to about 30 people for 60 minutes, sometimes two 60-minute sessions. I gave them an experience session of coaching. What does it
Like
mean?
free?
I gave free
Is it
coaching.
free? Okay.
So two sessions. Some people wanted two sessions, some people wanted one. I spoke to 30 people before the 60-day period. And from those 30 people, I got six clients because they saw the value in my conversations. They had
Mm.
either personal challenges or professional challenges, managing their teams, or communication or leadership. They're extremely good in technology, but they may not be good in leadership and some of the life skills like communication, collaboration, and so on. So, if somebody is a coach here, my first recommendation is give them experience of what coaching is. It is not preaching, it is not teaching, it is not mentoring. Coaching is a different field.
Mm.
It is
What's your
identifying
Yeah.
the blockers in their mind and
Mm.
helping them move forward toward their goals. In other words, I have a formula called performance equals potential minus interference.
Performance equals
Potential minus interference. So, if you are my client,
Okay.
Thomas, I believe you've got 100% potential as a human being.
Mm.
We are limitless. Our
Yeah.
potential is unknown and unknowable as human beings. What I would address is the interference part. What is interfering you
Mm.
as an
Okay.
individual? Is it your beliefs about your abilities? Are you scared
Yeah.
about something? Are you uncomfortable? You don't have the discipline to do things? You quit
Mm.
easily? You're not accountable? So those are the real interference. Or maybe there are people who don't work well with other people. They are
The
so
stuff
good.
that people don't want to hear.
Yes,
It's
yes.
like
So that is where the coaching comes, where you help people go beyond their own limits.
your book.
That's right. That's my vocab. So that's how coaching is different. So let me go back. So let me answer your question. So first 3 months, 60 free sessions for 30 people, and I got about six clients. That proved that I can charge high ticket coaching in the technology industry, in the Bay Area, and in other countries. So that gave me belief. After 90 days, I also realized something, Thomas. I cannot scale one-to-one coaching because it's always
Yeah.
one-to-one interaction, 60
It's just
minutes.
you.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
just me, and it's not easy to scale. So within 90 days, I also realized I need a different way to earn income. One-on-one
Mm.
coaching is not enough. I won't be able to scale myself. That's when I moved on to group coaching, which means I bring about 20 people in a room in a Zoom session, and I teach my favorite topics. They can be leadership, effective communication, storytelling, writing good slides for presentations. So those are some of my key strengths I developed in 20 years. I took my strengths and started selling how do I help other people with my strengths. So that's when
Mm.
I started building online courses. These are cohort courses where people come together, let's say weekly one session on Zoom, and we have teaching session and practice, giving feedback to each other and trying out on different breakout rooms. I
Mm.
started creating courses. I have right now three online courses. One is called Communication Engineering. The name itself tells you what the course is. We engineer the communication based on the target audience.
Mm.
Communication engineering is the course. It's a 4-week course. And each week we have two sessions, Tuesdays and Thursdays. Tuesday we talk about ideas on various aspects of communication and leadership. Thursdays people will practice those. So they go to
Mm.
breakout rooms, they practice with each other all the ideas they learned
Actually
on
do it.
Tuesday. Yes.
Yeah.
So you see, 50% is teaching and sharing ideas, 50% is actually implementing those ideas.
Mm.
Otherwise, you already know, like you don't get muscles
Yeah.
by watching the dumbbells. You build muscles by lifting the dumbbells.
Yeah, same thing with reading books. It's like you could read so many books, but if you don't practice, well, at least like in the personal development, self-help books, like if you don't practice what they're teaching, like your book, Beyond Your Limits, if somebody reads it and then just, oh, that's cool, like cool knowledge. But that's why they say knowledge is, I think Jim Quick like made it popular. He says knowledge is potential power,
Mhm.
not knowledge is power, because you have you have more potential now within you to use it, but if you don't use it, you can't.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. I agree. So that's how I came to group courses. So started with one-to-one coaching, realized it doesn't scale. I still have some clients. I'm not saying I enjoy one-to-one coaching, but
Mm.
I know it doesn't scale. So that's why I've got three courses now: communication engineering, which is a 4 week course; storytelling in the technology world, which is a 3 week course, 90 minutes each week. Then I've got another course called becoming a slidesmith, which means creating wonderful slides to communicate your message with audience.
Mm.
And my fourth course coming this year is Beyond Your Limits, which is based on my book.
Mm. I like it. How are you marketing yourself?
There are multiple ways. Initially, I started with my own referral network. I
Mm.
was in the industry for so long at Oracle as well as Meta.
Yeah.
I know my friends who left Oracle, maybe went to Google, Amazon, and various other tech companies. I started with my own connection and say, hey, here is my course. You know me, I've been in the industry for so long. I always offered free seats to people, saying, "Okay, send me two
Mm.
free seats for your team. Send me two people to experience this course. If they like it, in the next course, I want you to pay and come. Meaning, I want you to pay
Yeah.
and send your employees to my course."
Yeah.
So that was my strategy initially for group courses, and that's how I still get a lot of referrals. People who come, they send referrals because in the world of big tech, people need these skills. When they like something, they immediately post on social media, say, I love this training, I love this course. That's how I
Yeah.
get more visibility.
Yeah, that word of mouth.
Yeah. And the
That's like
second thing
the
is I am
key.
really active on LinkedIn. I make a post every day
Mm.
from Monday to Friday.
Oh wow.
I've got about 3,000 followers. It was 2,000 last year. I am now at 3,000. And my posts are really simple, 300 words maximum. Because my philosophy, Thomas, is it's not the information, it's the application that is missing in life. Everybody has information.
Mm.
We all know
Yeah.
what needs to be done. It's the application that leads to transformation.
Mm.
The bridge from information to transformation is application. If you apply the ideas you already know, it can take you to the land of transformation.
Mm. I agree. That's something that I've like. This has been the most consistent thing I've ever done. Is podcasting. I would
Yeah.
always start like I said, I invested thousands of dollars in these like courses and business startup things, and I would only last like 6 months or so, and
Mhm.
then I would get shiny object syndrome, where it's like, oh, what's the next thing that I could do for 6 months, and then just stop. But in that time, that's when I realized like what is something that I can do consistently that doesn't feel like work that I'm passionate about, but it is a type of work and it does require work and consistency and a commitment, and it was podcasting.
Yeah. I know you have been really consistent. You've got some good guests. I watched a few episodes. Keep going, That's it. It's about consistency. How long can you go? It's a marathon. It's not how fast you go,
Yeah.
it's how long can you run.
Yeah, and uh like letting go of like certain expectations. Like still have goals, still strive for those goals, but something that's helped me is not being super attached
Mm-hmm.
to the goal and being more attached to the application. Like you were
Mm-hmm.
saying, like be more committed to the application of the work and not so much with the goals, because I do think sometimes goals can like I was saying earlier, sometimes goals can like create some pressure
Mm-hmm.
where it's like, if I don't meet this, what am I gonna do? Like, you know. So for me, that's what helps me.
Yeah. You could also look at this way, going back to your number game, there is always
Yeah.
this outcome goal and the process goal, right? The
Hmm.
outcome goal can be, I want X number of followers by this date, is the
Yeah.
outcome goal. But the process goal is every day I will do these five things to go there.
Yeah. I'm
If you
more
focus
focused
on
on the process.
yeah,
Yeah.
if you focus on process goals and just do it every day, that itself is an indicator that you are in the right direction.
Hmm. See, I didn't know that. I didn't know there was the two different types of goals.
Yeah. Because outcome goal will scare you because you're looking at the gap. You look at 500
Hmm.
followers this week and say, I'm not there yet. I'm not there yet. But if you look at the process goal, okay, today I'm going to make one post on Instagram, one video here, and I will talk to somebody in this connection, or I'll follow someone who has 1 million followers. I'll interact with this person.
Hmm.
So something specifically, something that adds up to your strategy. You make those activities as your process goals and hit it every day. You focus on only your
Hmm.
process goal and say, my process is this today. And you could also break down into smaller goals. Instead of 1 million followers, maybe you can say, this month I will have these followers. You can check
Hmm.
in every month, but every day will be a little too much to say, I'm going to hit 500 people is not easy and not helpful
Yeah.
as well, this way of measuring it.
Yeah. What are your goals now for your business?
So right now, I'm focused on three goals. Number one is I'm launching my newsletter called Beyond Your Limits. It's a free newsletter because I don't want to earn income through newsletter. And I will tell you why we all do it as coaches and
Yeah.
authors is social media. We don't own our community, meaning we don't really have direct connection with them. It is through a social media.
Yeah.
With the newsletter, what happens is people will be subscribed to my newsletter. So I decide based on the engagement, I say I'll only send once a week. Every Saturday I'll
Hmm.
send an email. So essentially, you own the audience, and you decide how you want to communicate with them and when you want to market something to them. So that is
Hmm.
why we all give free newsletters, so that we don't want to earn income through sharing information. But we will definitely promote things in the future. Maybe there is a course coming. If they're interested, I will definitely promote that in that email. But it's
Yeah.
not the promotion in every email. It's mostly information and inspiration and so on.
Yeah.
So my first goal is to
Yeah.
create a newsletter very soon in the next 2 weeks and launch it. That's my number one goal.
Hmm.
The number two goal is I continue to go to so many podcasts to talk about my book. I go to at least five podcasts every week these days. So weekly five
That's a lot.
podcasts. It's a lot. I go to five podcasts. I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying meeting people, promoting the book. I get a lot of inquiries from various folks, including many other countries as well. So I'm enjoying the process of building these connections, and I'll continue to do that. That's my second priority. The third priority is my live course based on the book. The course is ready. I just need to find the right time to launch the course. The question is it going to be November, December timeframe, just before the new year? Because people can go achieve their goal for the next year. Or should I be doing it January, February, 7 weeks, where they start the new year? That's the debate right now. So my focus
Hmm.
is on how do I get the audience there? How do I plan these sessions? The slides are
Hmm.
almost ready. I'm polishing some slides. So there are three goals again: newsletter, promoting the book, and then launching my new course based on the book. Those are my top three priorities right now.
And these are all through your coaching business, Change Smith.
That is correct. You are correct. Chain Smith is the company name. Now, one thing I was expecting you would ask me is why did I write the book? I would love to answer that question if you want to. If you want me to answer,
We'll get to that. We'll
oh, we'll
get
get
to
to that. Okay, I'll wait then. I'll patiently wait.
that. um, I guess my next question was, I don't think we covered it. How can somebody, let's say, because the first step in goal setting is knowing what you like, what you don't like, what you want to do, what you don't want to do. How would you tell somebody who's listening that's maybe misguided? They don't know exactly what they want to do, and they don't really have any goals.
Yeah, I have a principle in the seven-step framework called begin with the end in mind. Like you said, know what they want, begin with the end in mind. Now, for everybody, it's different things. Like different people need different way of exploring things. And I have heard this, Thomas, many times. I don't know what my goals are, what I'm supposed to be doing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I will start there because that is my common question I get from people, especially people who are high earners, high income earning software
Mm,
engineers and managers. Say, I'm so busy. What should be my goal? What goal should I
yeah.
consider? Generally, I ask them this question: what is one thing, if you start doing today, will change your life?
Mm,
What comes to
that's
your mind? If I ask you that question, what
it.
is one thing, if you start doing from today, would make a difference to your life?
For me, uh, probably start one of my business ideas, because I have so many business ideas that I just,
Yeah.
like I said, I'll start for a couple months and just stop because it either gets too hard or I just lose focus on it.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing. So most people, they may not have the time to think about this. So the book as well as my
Mm,
coaching process tells them, can you think for a moment? One thing to do. Most people tell me right in the beginning, they know it. It's just that they did not have time to reflect on this question. They're so busy running. They're so busy driving the car on a highway. They had no time to fuel their car.
yeah.
This questions makes them stop and think, what do I really want? The other question I ask people is, what is one thing you can stop doing today that would make your life beautiful or better?
Mm, one thing
You
I
can
could
stop
stop
doing.
doing.
Yeah.
Uh, Watching too much Netflix.
There you go. There you go. And I have heard other answers from my clients or even potential clients. I give a couple of free sessions once in a while where people are curious to work with me, but they're not yet committed. I offer them 60-minute free session to explore. And this is a common topic. I want to use my phone less every day. I use 4 hours. I touch my phone for
Yeah,
4 hours. How do I stop it?
that's
So they
huge.
know it already. Imagine 4 hours on your phone doesn't help unless you are making money from it. It's your business. I mean, if you are an Instagram celebrity and you're earning a
Oh yeah,
million through 4 hours, yeah, maybe a good use of your time. But if you're a
yeah,
consumer of information, not a creator, it may not be helpful.
yeah. That's me. I use it. I have the mindset in using social media as a creator, not a consumer. And when I do consume, I have the excuse, I'm watching it for inspiration.
We all have been there, sir. So this is where I think I start with a simple these two questions because see people want more information. I always have other exercises to explore. For example, there is a common exercise called write your own eulogy. Imagine
I
you are
like
no
that.
longer alive, you are watching
Yeah,
your own funeral, right? And
yeah.
what would you want people to say about you, your kids, your spouse, your friends and family, parents, brothers? What do you want them to say?
Mm.
This is not easy, by the way, because we don't like to think about it. We don't want to
Yeah.
put a definition of what we want to be. It's just uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But if you stick with that, you will get the answer. You will get your core values. I want to be known for this. I want to be known for my kindness, generosity, helping nature, confidence, inspiration to other people. You will get some answers. And then, okay, if that is what you want to do, how do we start that in your daily activities? Now we are coming back from a telescopic goal to a microscopic goal. Telescopic is
Mm.
toward the end of your life. Microscopic is today what needs to happen.
Mm. I like that. Something I ask myself when thinking about stuff like that is, if I had all the money, and if I didn't have to worry about money or making a living and surviving, like what would I be doing for work, or what would give me more purpose in life? That's something I ask myself. It's like, just because most people, they have this pressure, like you said, they're constantly running because of what, their work, their job, their whatever. But if you just cancel that out and say, ask yourself, like, what if you had, like, let's just say financial freedom, and you didn't have to
Mhm.
worry about money ever again? Like, what would you be doing?
That's a brilliant question. I like it.
Yeah, that's something I ask myself all the time. And it's like, man, I would be doing podcasting and trying to, well, yeah, now trying to monetize it and
Mhm.
make a living doing this, but
Yeah.
I enjoy it nonetheless, though.
Yeah, it shows, right? In your conversations, the way you are prepared, the way you show up, the way you curiously ask questions and listen, it shows up that you enjoy this process. It is evident to me as a guest, also evident to your listeners. So kudos there. Good job.
So why'd you write the book?
All right. So uh, the real answer is as I finished the first five goals in 2006, I think I finished four goals. Fifth one was in progress because 50 times donating blood is not easy. It takes time.
Yeah, you gotta
So
recoup that blood.
yeah, so I finished this year June 50th donation. But other than that, I had made really good progress on all these four goals. I said I'm going to write a book. I wrote the goal in my list that I will write a book one day, non-fiction book.
Hmm.
Now I wrote the goal in 2006, about 18 years ago. I did not make the progress. In 2015, I started a book on coaching. I lived in India 2015, initial year like Jan Feb. I started writing a book. I did not make progress. Um, it was really difficult because I had not written a book. English is my third language. I psyched out. I said, oh, it's not for me.
That's crazy.
So last year, when I decided to work on my own and creating courses, one of the opportunities I saw was to teach at Stanford Continuing Studies.
Hmm.
Stanford allows industry professionals to come and teach courses in the evening, open to anybody who
Uh,
has the industry experience. I went to
uh,
their website, I submitted one course, and they asked a question there. Are you a published author?
uh,
If yes, give the link here of your book. That question threw me off. I said, I
yeah.
have a goal. It's just that I did not finish this goal. I kept postponing it
Uh,
for various reasons. It is high time I should write a book. Then, back then, even now, I work with a coach called Dr. Eric Meisel in the US. He's
hmm.
77. He has written about 65 books so far. He's in the world of
Wow.
coaching and person transformation for 4 decades. He's a psychotherapist by education, clinical psychologist and psychotherapist. And now he's a creativity coach.
Mm.
I signed up for coaching program with him, a long-term coaching engagement. It's more than a year now. I said to Eric, I want to write a book. I don't know how. Well, he said, I'll give you three options. Pick one number. 20, 40, and 60. I said, what do you mean? He said, every day in the morning, get up in the morning. Once you finish your basic things like washing your face, going to the toilet, right after that,
Nah, don't do that. Just
so right after that, you either set a clock for 20 minutes, 40 minutes, or 60 minutes,
mm.
and you simply write whatever comes to your mind. I didn't have a choice. He said only three options. No, 0 minutes was not there. So 20, 40, and 60. I said to Eric, I'll start with 20 and see what happens.
Mm.
I took the challenge. I wrote every day for about 4 months consistently. 4 months. I was in Lake Tahoe for vacation last year in December with my family. Before they got up, I got up at 4:30. I wrote for 30 minutes, even during vacation. Nobody even knew it. I just got up and I wrote my notes that day. So Eric
Yeah.
taught me the concept called chunks. Your job is to write a chunk
Uh,
every day. The chunk can be in number of words or number of minutes. So if you look at my book, it's about 49,000 words, 245 pages. This book seems impossible to write. But if you say, I will write 20 minutes a day, things can change. This applies to any goal, by the way, not only with writing a book, but any goal.
yeah.
Can you break it down to something manageable every day
That you can do every
that you
day.
can
No
do? Yeah.
excuses.
Yeah. And I'll tell you, 1 or 2 days I could not write at all. I
Yeah,
decided,
you get like block, right? Whiter's block.
so I decided, even if I don't write, I will review my previous pages. I set a timer, I kept reviewing my previous pages. But I did not quit. I spent, or rather, I invested 20 minutes every day, no matter what happened, including my review. So by 4 months, I had enough raw material for the whole book.
How did you organize it? Because you say just write.
Yeah.
Somebody just writing is like, where's the like organization of that?
Yeah. I think initially we had a basic structure. My
Okay, okay.
my goal was to write a book about goal setting,
Okay, okay.
and I wanted the book to be unique. See, any self-help book you read, Thomas, it's all about information.
Mm-hmm.
As if the author is at a pedestal, they are superior, and now they are teaching you something.
Yeah.
I wanted my book to be different. I wanted it to be a practitioner's guide. I'm
Mm.
not preaching anything. I'm not teaching anything. I am
Yeah.
a friend of yours. You and I are at the same plane. We are at the same level.
Mm. Yeah.
And I wrote about 52 goals. I wrote. The goal number one is losing weight, losing about 50 pounds is goal number one. And goal number 52 is writing a book, which is this book.
Mm.
So that's how I structured the book. My first goal in life, where I consciously chose, was losing weight. And the end of the goal list by 2024 was writing a book. So this book has about 21 years of my experience from 2003 to 2004. I picked about specifically these goals, which I wanted to communicate about them, like health,
Mm.
fitness, family, relationship, moving to another country. Like moving to the US was a goal of our family. My wife and I wanted to move to another country. If not for this country, we would have gone to Dubai or Singapore or Australia, no doubt.
Really?
Yeah, that's how goals are powerful. I almost had the job opportunity at Dubai, by the way. I said no
Dubai
because
is
I knew
crazy,
US is
yeah.
better than Dubai, so I became here
US is
because of the
better.
weather. We love the weather here. Now I realize.
Well, Dubai
So
has nice weather too.
it's too hot. It's desert, so it's really hot.
Yeah, I've been
Uh,
there with the military once. We were there for like 2 weeks. Man, super rich country. Just like
Yeah.
it's like they might as well have like gold buildings or something. It's just like crazy.
Yeah, I think for the tech world, Bay Area is the best place. San Francisco Bay Area is the best place if you're a technical person for jobs and opportunities. So I like to be in the US then. I love visiting Dubai. I went there twice, so I love going for vacation.
Yeah.
But working and employed, I think US is a great place, especially the Bay Area.
Did you go to the Burj Khalifa?
Yes, yes,
The top, it's insane. And they're
yes,
trying
it
to
is.
like, I think somebody, Elon Musk or some other UAE country is trying to build like another one even taller than that or
I
something.
heard that too. I don't know which country, but I heard that. It's crazy.
It's crazy. They're gonna build a building like that gets into the space. Like,
Yeah. So to finish up your question, I answered the second question was because Stanford asked me a question, it threw me off. I wrote the book.
hmm,
Once I finished it, I went to two editors. They're professional editors. Their job is writing wonderful books. I paid them money. They gave a wonderful feedback on what can be changed. They asked me to cut about 30% of my book because it's a lot of
oh
repetition
wow.
and too much description. And the book looks professional because it went through two rounds of professional editing. So then I worked with,
Um,
sorry, go on.
I did want to ask because I do have a goal that I want to write a book one day. Like that's my goal, just write a book one day. Uh, and my brother actually is in the process of writing a book right now as
Mhm.
well. Um, what is your thoughts on the whole publishing process? Because publishing does take money as well,
Mhm.
and then or you could self-publish, but then you don't have the like help with editors and marketing.
Mhm.
So what's your
I
thoughts on
went
that?
through self-published route because that's the easiest and the fastest. Imagine in 9 months from the first page to publishing and being available on Amazon and other places, exactly it took about 9 months.
Oh wow,
Just like
that's
birthing
fast.
birthing a baby.
You
This
birthed
is
your
not
baby book.
possible. This is not possible with traditional publishing.
uh, because they have to like go back and
Yeah,
edit it, and then they have like a whole marketing
that's right. So you have to
plan.
go by their schedule. They have these milestones. You have to
Yeah,
go by their milestones, and I wasn't ready to do that. I really enjoyed writing it myself, reviewing through editors, and then cover design. That is all you can do it with so many
I like it.
companies.
It's like a journey.
Yeah, this is a hardcover. I also have paperback. I have audiobook on Spotify. Everywhere you go, I can you can find my book. Audible,
Nice. I'll check
Amazon.
it out.
Yeah, check it out.
I
Spotify,
want to
if you have
check
a
it out.
premium membership, Spotify is free, right? You can
Yeah.
listen to the audiobooks. So the journey has been really good. In the process, Thomas, I learned that when I was writing the book, I thought there's a lot of money through royalty. After
Mm.
I wrote the book, after I go to so many places to promote my book, I realized the money or the business for an author is to back-end programs, in the sense, do you have courses based on the book? Do you have a digital course based on the book? Do you do coaching based on
Uh.
your concepts? So
Yeah.
it is mostly like an authority building piece where you have an experience and expertise and say, hey, here is my expertise of goal setting. Now you are elevating your authority through this book, really high quality book where you put effort. From that, you can get more business for other things you do, like coaching
Mm.
courses and
Yeah. It's like a
speaking
promotion
opportunity
type.
and so on.
Yeah.
Uh,
And value too, because if somebody reads the book and they find it valuable,
yeah.
they're gonna like look in your back pages or wherever you have like promotion and be like, oh, let me check out their website.
Yeah.
Or I know two of my favorite authors, they did that. They created whole
Mhm.
businesses off of that Atomic Habits and The Subtle Art of Not Giving.
Okay. So James
Those
Clear
two,
and okay.
yeah, those two literally did that. Like he has an app now. He has like an Atomic Habits app now. His
Mhm.
newsletter is huge. But like before that, I didn't even really know them.
Yeah, absolutely. In
So
fact, what is surprising is most of the book content they have, like I would say in Atomic Habits case, everything is in the book is also on his blog.
yeah, it's like
Have you noticed
it's
that
right there.
everything that he's talking in the book is also in public before he
Hmm.
published the book, by the way?
It's just compiled. It's a compiled version of
Exactly.
it. Yeah.
So you can buy the book if you want the compiled version. If you're not somebody who is following him for 2 years, you can buy the book. But
Hmm.
he's openly talking about the content in other places.
Yeah. So it's free. It's free
Yeah, you
information.
can say it's free information. He is not making money through books. In his case, he is also, because it's millions of copies sold now.
Yeah.
But I'm sure he's making much more from other things like speaking opportunities, digital courses, and so on. I also have
Yeah.
3 digital courses now. I realized as I learned, I cannot scale myself. So from one-to-one coaching to live group courses, now I also have digital courses. So it's up to people now. They can either buy the digital course asynchronously, they can watch in their own pace, self-paced learning, or they can come to my live course. So I am implementing whatever I learned in the process in my business in the same order. I started with high ticket coaching, does not scale, then live courses. Okay, it doesn't help if people want to pay less money and they watch videos, so then digital courses. And then I've got speaking opportunities. Now I get once in a while invitations to come and speak. Either they will buy the book or buy courses or pay me money.
Hmm.
And to amplify all this, I have a book now to increase my credibility and authority about goal setting.
What's what's next for you? What are you doing now, and what's your vision for the future?
Like I said earlier, the short term immediate focus is a free newsletter, the course based on the book, and promote more. That's the short term vision. The long term vision is, as I said in the beginning, I took a 2 year sabbatical from 2023 to 25. So I am looking at what time I want to go back, if I want to go back next year. What
Okay.
sort of a job should I consider so that I can run my business parallelly without having to drop it and go back to a high pressure job?
Unless your business explodes, and then you don't have to. No,
I think realistically, the
maybe.
thing is, I also realized what Thomas says. This is a marathon, not a sprint. I made a
Mm.
lot of progress in last 18 months, and I want this to be driven through inspiration, not desperation.
Mm.
When you have a deadline and you want to earn some income by the deadline, especially in the world of coaching and transformation,
Yeah.
it doesn't help.
Oh yeah. It's
You are
like the
desperate to make money. You're not looking at people's transformation. You're looking at
yeah.
your benefit right now. How quickly can I go to this level?
Yeah, that's the sad part about the world we live in, I guess
Yeah,
today. It's just you still gotta make a living, and
yeah,
uh unless you have like a trust fund or you have like huge investments coming in, you're not
yeah,
you gotta work.
yeah. At the same time, I'm also mindful to pick a job where I enjoy doing and doesn't take a lot of time. Meaning,
It doesn't take a lot of your
yeah,
headspace.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
8 hours a day, happy to invest time, add value, and do my other things. But if it demands 50 hours a week or 55 hours a week, that's not realistic.
Mm,
It takes away my core focus from my business.
yeah. That's something I've been gripping with recently. It's like cuz I don't I don't have a day job right now. I have like retirement income from the military,
Mhm.
and it's enough to survive but not thrive and like
Yeah.
go on vacations every month. Um
There are two other reasons why I want to do it. To go
yeah.
back to a job is one is see, a lot of people think, in my experience in the last 2 years, they think I can do this because I have a lot of time.
Yeah.
They cannot do it because they have a job.
Mm,
And I want to go explore that. Okay, that's not true. You can do both. You can pick a job that is not too stressful, not too demanding, and yet run
yeah.
your coaching business. So I want to show that to folks around me and people who are my clients right now. I want to show that as an example. Second thing, Thomas, I realized my coaching clients, I don't take more than 20 clients every year, maximum 20 active clients.
Yeah.
Once one of the engagement finishes, I take the next one. So if you really see, they're busy on weekdays from 9 to 5. I meet them in the evening or early morning or on Saturdays. So if you really see, I can actually balance my job and the business together.
Yeah, or you just have to make a sacrifice somewhere. Like
Yeah.
what matters to you more? Like
Mhm.
that new episode of Game of Thrones for an hour,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
or that hour spent doing something that you may have a goal for. You know, it all requires some sort of sacrifice, no matter
Yeah,
how small, or a trade off of some sort.
yeah. So to finish up, that's the medium term goal. If and when, I would say both if and when, because I want to be open to both. I don't want to say yes or no to one side. I want yes and, meaning business and job. It's totally fine. So when to go, where to
Yeah.
go, that's the medium term goal. And the really long term goal is in 4 to 5 years. This is where I really enjoy helping people through my own life example, doing the right things, staying healthy, fit, achieve personal goals, help other people become leaders in the organization. I have realized what I enjoy doing in the last 18 months.
Yeah.
So I exactly know where my long term goals are, where am I going. I have a North Star, I'm following it every day. In fact, this time I'm resubmitting my course at Stanford with the same name as Beyond Your Limits, based on my book. And I will
Now you
proudly
have.
say, yes, I am an author. Here is my book title on Amazon. So,
I feel like when you were doing that, it was like a slap in the face. It was like, wait, you're not a published author. Like,
yeah, yeah.
come on.
I'm sure they get hundreds of applications. They want to filter out by these criteria. But
Yeah.
I think that question was really a strong reason to start immediately. I will tell you honestly. I had the
Yeah.
goal in 2006, 18 years ago, but I took action after I saw that question saying, this
It
is
was like
something
a
I want to do it.
reminder.
It's a
Yeah.
reminder that, hey,
Yeah.
you claim to be a credible person. Do you have the credibility as an author? Uh,
It's like
but I'm
one more
glad.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Like everything happens for a reason. You can say it was a bad situation after the layoff at Meta, but look at it. I wrote a book without the
I feel like
layoff.
you've grown a lot since then.
Absolutely. So I started a business in California. I'm from India. I moved here in 2015. I have a business in California. I wrote a book. I think
You've
everything
done a
happens
lot.
for a reason. If you look back and connect the dots, you see, wow, this situation 2 years ago where I did not like, actually, it was a stepping
Opportunity.
stone for more opportunities.
Yeah. Well, Pramoda, do you have anything you'd like to say before I move on to my conclusions?
I would say to your listeners, find your goals. They are always there. Either you can follow your bliss, like what brings joy to you, or you can follow your grunt, what you don't enjoy in your life. Those are the two directions. Find what brings joy to you, or find what's painful in your life, and they can be your goals.
Hmm. I like
In
that.
my case, I had both. I found what's joyful to me as well as what are my grunts back then, my weight and other things, my
Yeah.
confidence as a speaker. You might have other things. So there is always something that you can look
Your
forward to, improve
relationships.
yourself. Yeah, relationship.
That's
So
for
my
me.
strong recommendation is find your goals, follow them. There is bliss in the process.
So at the end of all of my podcasts, I play a card game. Uh, I already picked some cards, and the cards create a question, completely random. Um, the question is, can you share something that you wouldn't normally tell your coworkers about the last thing that I looked at that I wasn't supposed to look at?
The last thing I looked at, I was supposed.
They go together.
Oh, so the last thing I looked at that I wasn't supposed to. Oh, to a coworker, you mean?
Yeah. Yeah, they go together.
Yeah. So you looked at someone else's salary range to figure out how much they are making, and you got that information through some email.
Okay. I feel like you kind of already know like a range, right? With certain
Yeah, I
people.
think sometimes the ranges are too broad. You don't know. You're at the
Uh,
same level, but the range is too broad.
yeah. I know big tech people, they make a lot of money over there. I
Yeah.
mean, Austin, Texas is turning into like a techie city as well. That's where I live now.
And I think there is also a lot about how you negotiate when you start the job. How you negotiate, how you
Yeah.
get, it matters a lot. So Sometimes people may get a good job, but they may not know how much they can negotiate. So they may have got a
Yeah.
lowball offer, they don't even know. There are
Yeah.
websites these days you can figure out, but even then, they are not enough, because most companies these days are saying, okay, it's not only the level based salary, but some of those are personal based on your situation, where you come from, what you already are getting. They are willing to negotiate.
Mm.
That's the thing in the tech world.
Well, Promoter, I asked my guests the same five questions, and the first question is, what is your biggest regret in life?
Not starting early. Any of my goals, if you really see, I had doubts about making progress and achieving the goal. I would have loved to start them early in my career. Any goal that I talk about, whether it is running a marathon or writing a book, I had them in my mind, but I started them late, many of my goals. So that's one regret I have. If I were to go back and change, because I pushed my own boundary after some time,
Mm.
but I could have achieved many of these things way before.
That's a regret of mine as well. It's just like doing things sooner than I could have, and knowing the power of the compound effect and commitment and staying consistent. I always took that for granted. My next question is, who or what has made the biggest impact in your life that makes you who you are today?
My father has been a big impact on me. What I liked about my father is he exactly knew what he wanted in his life, and he was always chasing that. He had three post graduation in different languages. He was teaching all the time. He just enjoyed whatever he did, meaning his activities brought him
Mm.
joy. From the activities, he was serving other people, other students. So the biggest influence is my father. I learned very early in my career that you can enjoy what you're doing and find meaning in your job and activities. And watching
Mm.
him as I was growing, I learned a lot about that itself. Okay, a lot of people were doing different things, where he was finding meaning. He was doing all these things he enjoyed doing, like teaching, learning, growing, and so on. So big influence is my father.
That's crazy because it's been what, almost 22 years ago
Yes,
from that.
and he was 59 back then when he passed away.
That's still kind of young, huh?
Yeah,
Yeah, I noticed that like when you first started talking um about when he passed, it was like really like an eye opener for you. Like because he was like your kind of like your source of inspiration, right? And then
that
when
is
he
true. That's true.
when he went away, I was like, well, how am I gonna be inspired anymore to do anything?
That's correct. Yeah.
That's huge. My next question is, what is one lesson that you had to learn the hard way?
The hard way. What I have seen early in my career, when I started setting goals and going after them, I thought if I am scared about doing something, I can wait and things will be different. This is especially true in my public speaking career.
Mm.
I joined the club. I was scared of public speaking. I joined the Toastmaster Club back in 2003.
Oh yeah.
I took other roles, like in meetings, they have got other roles, like you could be a timer, a filler counter, and many smaller roles.
Mm.
But people who speak, they need to prepare and come speak for 7 to 10 minutes. That requires a lot of courage and practice and effort. I kept pushing and say, okay, one day I'll speak, one day I'll speak. And I realized no matter how much you push, unless you face the fear and take action
Yeah.
while you are afraid, That's where the real change
That's
happens.
courage, yeah.
Yes. So being courageous while you are afraid, take action. You will still have fear, nervousness, anxiety in front of 20, 30 people in the room. But standing there, going through that experience will make you better. That is something I learned the hard way. I kept postponing my speeches for a long time. And for the first 2 years, this happened. I would set up a slot and start thinking, maybe I should push it next week. I'm not ready yet.
Mm,
My script is not perfect yet.
yeah, the procrastination trap.
Yeah. The benefit of that, Thomas, is that applies to anything else in life. That experience of okay, you have to face the fear and take action. That is courage. The definition of courage is acting in spite of fear.
Mm,
Once I internalized that, that was helpful in every other area of my life. You don't have a choice, you have to face the fear. If you're afraid of something, do that first. Do the thing you're afraid of, or do the thing
yeah.
you fear. The fear will disappear. That is the message I learned the hard way by doing things.
Yeah. I think public speaking is like it's like one of the top fears for a lot of people.
Mhm.
Um, I did a couple of Toastmaster classes as well.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. It was never like a huge goal of mine. For me, it was just like, could I do it to the point where I don't feel as nervous?
Mhm.
And the first couple of classes, they had like volunteers where um, you would have to speak in front of everything about like any random topic. And those first couple of classes, I chose to just do it. I was like, man, I'm freaking scared. Like, I'm just gonna do it. And it was crazy because I've only done like I think it was like 4 or 5 of those like Toastmaster classes, but towards the end of one of them, this guy was inspired by me. He was like,
Mhm.
um, he was like, yeah, I want to be more like Thomas because he just did it, and this is like his first time, and he
Yeah.
just went with it, and that was inspiring to me. And it's just like that is also like the power of just I guess public speaking, but also just the power of like leading by example and doing stuff that you're even afraid to do, but that could inspire somebody to take
Mhm.
action within themselves.
Absolutely. In fact, that can inspire you more because you know that by you taking the action, facing your fear, you're
It's like a
helping other
cycle.
people face their fear. So
It's
that
like an
can inspire you as
inspiration
well.
cycle.
Correct. Correct.
My next question is, what would you want to experience, or what would you do in life if you had all the time and all the money in the world?
I'll tell you one thing I want to experience. Is there are many things on the list. For brevity, I'll say one thing right now. There is this thing called hammam bath in Turkey. Have you heard of this? It's a Turkish bath. It's one of my goal list. In fact, I've signed up my family as well. My son and my wife, they want to do it. You can Google it. It's called hammam bath.
What is it
Uh,
called?
Hammam, Hamam, hammam. It means bath in Turkish.
Hammam bat.
Hamam, yeah. Just say Hamam, hammam. The word
Hmm.
itself in Turkish means bath.
A
So
type of steam bath or public bathing in the Islamic world.
yeah, so
Common in Spain and Turkey.
it's a big thing. They've got. I have heard that from my
What do you
friends.
do there? You
So
are
they've
you
got
naked?
5 to 7. Well, I think it's your choice either to be naked
Oh,
or
you could be naked or
you
not.
could be naked if you want to. Uh, but the experience is really good. So they got all these various tubs like oil and mud and many other things. I've heard a
Yeah.
lot about it, so I would love to experience hammam in my life. It's on my list. I would love to experience it one. The other one, if you like to ask me, is my wife and I want to go to Fiji at some point, Fiji Islands, and have some fun time together. So those two are my
Right.
experiences on the list.
Fiji's like near Australia, right?
That's right. Yeah, Fiji is an island, yes.
I want to go to was it Bora Bora Islands?
I, I have heard it. Where is it? Which part?
I think it's Bora Bora Islands. I think they're in the same area.
Oh, say okay.
Bora Bora. Um, yeah, it's in Oceania off the coast of Australia.
Okay, they are closer then.
Huh?
They are closer. These two places.
Yeah, the Fiji and Bora Bora, they're like, I guess they're both in Oceania, the islands over there. Well, Pramoda, you kind of already said what you had to say at the end, but I'll ask again as our closing statement. Our question is there any last thing you'd like to share with whoever's listening that you want to resonate with them?
I will end up with my book title, Go Beyond Your Limits, because once you go beyond your limits, it's a proven path for achieving growth, meaning, happiness. When you stretch yourself, that's where you actually, when you leave the comfort zone, the real meaning, joy, happiness is outside the comfort zone. So go beyond your limits.
So go check out his book. Where is it? It's on Amazon, Spotify, everywhere.
Everywhere, wherever you get your books, so you can find out Bonds and Noble, many other websites.
Go support him and share his message, because I believe in it as well. Once you go beyond your limits, you can live a more fulfilled and passionate life. Thank you, Pramoda.
Thank you, Thomas. I enjoyed the conversation. Thanks.